Today's video is for cyclists, and it's also for people who have a rounded posture. Hi there, I'm Lenore, and I help people reduce stiffness and pain through improving body awareness, because you can't change what you're not aware of. This helps improve functioning so that people can continue doing the activities they love. In today's video, we're going to be addressing cycling, so yoga for cyclists, as well as for people who tend to have rounded postures. So a required flexibility for cycling is the upper and lower back muscles need to be flexible enough to maintain a rounded shape. In terms of required strength, there's the obvious, which is the legs. So the quads, hamstrings, glutes, and hip flexors all need to be strong, as well as the neck extensors. So these are the muscles at the back of the neck which allow the head to look forward when you're in that rounded shape. Now, one of the limiting things about cycling is that your legs and your hips are not moving into the full range of motion. So you're basically flexing and extending the hip in a limited range of motion. So in other words, we're teaching the muscles to stay short. This is why after doing a long bike ride, you can feel the need to stretch the hamstrings, to stretch the quads. They've only been moving in a limited range of motion. In addition, when one is cycling, the hips are moving just in flexion and extension and not in abduction and adduction. So we'll also focus on strengthening the outer and inner hip muscles to support the movement of flexion and extension required in the hips. In a habitually rounded posture, or the posture of a cyclist, the frontline muscles are learning to stay shortened. So we want to release these muscles of their habituated shortened position. In addition, we want to activate the back muscles to counteract the rounding. And also, if you have tight back, this will help to release them. So there's a really basic and simple movement we can do to teach the muscles of the back to lengthen, as well as to teach the front muscles of the body to lengthen. Have your knees bent, and we're going to start with the movement of your pelvis. So just take note of your pelvis here. It should be in neutral, so I either should be a low back curve, and the two hip bones here, they should be level with the pubic bone. So begin by gently, I'll just move my arms out of the way so you can see. Begin by gently rolling your pelvis down towards your feet. So that's going to mean that your low back starts to contract and lift away from the floor, and you can feel your low back muscles working. So slowly start to release those with as much control as you can. A very small movement until you're back to that neutral position. Then do the opposite. Your pelvis is going to roll towards your head this time. So that will flatten your back. Your low back will likely press into the floor, and you'll feel your abdominal muscles working. And then slowly, with control, release the abdominal muscles until your pelvis rolls back to neutral. Okay, so that's it. We're just going to go back and forth between those two. So gently roll the pelvis down towards the feet, the low back arches. You'll feel your head perhaps get pulled downward and your chin starts to tuck, and then slowly release that. And then flatten the back. Abdominals contract, and then slowly release that. So I would repeat that 3 to 5 times. Then let's add a movement here. So begin again by rolling your pelvis down towards your feet, the back arches, and then gently press your shoulders into the floor. You'll feel your chest pop up and the area between your shoulder blades contract. Slowly release that. until you're in neutral. So now we're counteracting the roundness of our back by contracting voluntarily the muscles of the back. So then we do the opposite, flatten the back, and this time lift the shoulders off the floor so you're rounding and coming into the shape that you're in when you're cycling. And then slowly release the shoulders and the abdominals until you're back to neutral. So let's do that again. Got the sun in my eyes here. So gently roll the pelvis down, press the shoulders down so you're in an arch position. Take a breath in here. Feel the length and release of the front line of the body. As you exhale, slowly with control, release that. Back muscles of the low back and the upper back to neutral. Then take a breath in here. As you exhale, flatten the back, round the shoulders. Feel the back now lengthened and round as the front is tight and contracted. Slowly release with control the shoulders, the abdominals, and feel that whole front line release and get longer until you're in neutral. Take a full breath here and a full breath out. Okay, let's now come into child's pose. So you're going to have your knees wide here and feet together, and then simply walk the hands forward. You can let your head rest on the floor, or if it doesn't reach, you can put a block under it. So let's activate the hands here. So grip the mat with your fingers. Take a full breath in, expanding through the back line, and a full breath out. So let's add a contraction of your shoulder blades. So you're going to try to, you can come onto your fingertips for this one. Lift the armpits up, off, away from the floor. You should feel your shoulder blades starting to draw towards each other into retraction. We're going to hold here while we breathe. So in this semi-rounded shape, we're activating the muscles of the back to help strengthen them to counteract that rounded shape. Breathing in and out. Take one more breath here. Okay, let that go. Now walk your hands a little bit over to the right. You're going to reach a little bit further with the left hand and breathe into the left ribs. As you exhale, a gentle contraction of the right waist, which will further lengthen the left side. Take one more breath like that. Exhale, gentle contraction of your right waist. And then you can come back to center. Pause for a moment, notice the sensation, and then walk the hands to the left. The right hand, walk it a little, reach it a little longer. Breathe into the right side of the body now. As you exhale, gentle contraction of the left waist. Again, inhale into the right ribs. Expanding, exhale, gentle contraction of your left waist. And then return to center. Take a full breath in through the side bodies. And exhale it out. Walk your hands back up. So when we're in a rounded position riding the bike, the spine is in just a flexed position. So bringing into a lateral flexion, which we just did there in child's pose, invites more suppleness into the spine, which is important when we're riding our bike. So come onto your hands and knees now. So begin with a gentle arch of the back and look forward. Inhale here. As you exhale, release and tuck and round. Inhale, arch, look forward and up. Exhale, tuck and round. Inhale, back to center. So let's add to that. So like I said before, the legs in cycling do not get to move in their full range of motion, so we want to reconnect to that. So let's bring the left leg back. You can just have the foot planted for now. Okay, make sure your hips are square here, so we don't want them lifted or dropped. And that's important for the next step, which is to lift the foot off the floor. Keep the pelvis square. We don't want it lifting up like this. So in this position, you can start to try to lift the heel higher. This will activate your glute muscles, and you can add a little bit of a look forward here, which is an extension of the cow pose. Inhale here. As you exhale, knee to chest and round the back by pushing the hands down into the floor. You can also pull the knee closer into the chest, so your knee is coming towards your nose. You'll feel your hip flexor working here. And then inhale, extend, lift the foot, lift the gaze, and exhale, tuck and round. Pull the knee in, push the hands into the floor, feel your upper back round as a result, and then release. Just take a moment to just move from side to side. You can do little circles here if you want, just so we don't accumulate any tension in the body. And then we'll try the other side. So right leg extends back. This side might be different. So again, pelvis is level, and we'll start by lifting the foot off the floor, keeping the pelvis level. Okay, if we have the pelvis lifted, then that's going to use different muscles, and we want to keep the pelvis more square because that's the position it's in when we're cycling. So we want to train the muscles to work efficiently relative to a neutral pelvis. It just keeps things simple. So extending, lifting up, and then you can lift the heel a little further. That will make your glutes work harder. There's a bit of low back muscles too. And then look forward. Inhale here, feel the length of the front of the body. Exhale, release. Knee to nose, and press the hands into the floor to round the upper back. Pull the knee tighter to the chest. Work your hip flexors. Inhale, extend, reach, lift, lengthen. Exhale, tuck and round, press with the hands, pull with the knee, and then release. Again, little hip circles. All right, so we can add to that. That got into the glutes and hip flexors. We haven't really targeted the hamstrings, so we're gonna do that again, but add something different. We're gonna keep the knee bent, so the hamstrings are what are used to bend the knee. So back onto the hands and knees. Take the left leg back, lift it off the floor, bend the knee now, and you can actually use a little ball if you want in the knee crease there to keep that closed. So you're going to inhale, kick the heel now up to the sky. You can look forward. And then as you exhale, bring the knee towards the nose. And then again, inhale, extend, lift, exhale, tuck and round. Use those hands to press down, and then you can release. So that strengthens the hamstring muscles. So right side, extend, lift, keeping the hips square, bend the knee. You can flex the foot here as well. Press the heel to the sky without lifting the hip. Look forward. Inhale here, exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, extend the leg, but keep the knee bent. Exhale, knee to nose. And then release. You can do these 3 to 5 times. Let's take a break back into child's pose. Knees wide, arms extended, head resting on the floor or a block. Come onto the fingertips again. And then lift the armpits away from the floor. And just revisiting this one. Feeling the upper back muscles working. And then release. Walk the hands back and come on up. Okay, so I talked about how in cycling we're flexing and extending and we're not really moving in abduction or adduction. So the outer thigh muscles and the inner thigh muscles are not really getting used much. So what we can do is strengthen those muscles, which will help support the flexing and extending muscles. So let's come back to our hands and knees and bring your right knee to your chest. Now you're going to paint a circle with your right knee and bring it full circle. So in, out, up, back, and down. So make circles here. Your pelvis, please, it doesn't have to be level here. You'll feel the pelvis kind of lifting up with the legs, so allow that to happen. But you're going to feel your outer hip muscles working here, especially when you're lifting the knee up towards the sky. You'll also feel the standing leg outer hip is working as well. All right, and then we'll try the other side. So left knee in, up, back and down. Inhale as it lifts up. Exhale as it comes down. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Feel this outer hip working as well. Okay, one more. And then release. The stability of the shoulder girdle is important for cycling because that's exactly what it's doing. It's stabilizing you as you're using your legs. So let's build some strength there so that it can stabilize you better. So we'll be doing some arm circles. So you're going to reach your arms forward. Now, as the arms come forward, you want your shoulder blades to come forward as well. So the shoulder blades move away from the spine. And then the arms come up. Allow the shoulder blades to slide up towards the ears. And the arms go back. Shoulder blades go back, i.e. move closer towards each other. And then when the arms come down, the shoulder blades move down. So the shoulder blades are following the arm. So let's try that forward. Shoulders forward, arms up, shoulders up, arms back, shoulders back, arms down, shoulders down. Arms forward, shoulders forward, arms up, shoulders up, arms back, shoulders back, arms down, shoulders down. So do one more, inhaling and exhaling, and let that go. Another thing in cycling is we're gripping the handlebars. So our wrists are flexed, our hands are flexed. So we want to invite some extension of the fingers and the wrists. So just bring your hands in front of you and pull the backs of the hands towards you. So your wrists are extended and you're reaching your fingers as well. So let's have the hands and wrists in that position while we do our arm circles. So push the hands forward like you're trying to push someone away from you. Inhale, reach the arms up, shoulders up, and press the ceiling. Arms back, shoulders back. Keep those wrists extended, and then arms down. Your fingers will now be pointing behind you. So see if you can do that a couple more times. So we're strengthening the wrist extensors as well as the finger extensors. And exhale. let that go. So you should feel some fatigue on the top of your wrist and forearm there. That will counteract, like I said, the flexing of the fingers and the wrists, which can lead to numbness in the fingers. So that's something you could do actually while you're cycling, is if you're resting your hands on your handlebars, is actually extend the fingers and give a little break to the hands. Come to the top of your mat. Inhale, arms forward, up, back, and down, and then hinge forward at the hips to fold over your legs. You can let your knees bend here, let your head go, do a little swaying from side to side, and just feel the nice traction here of your spine. Come to a still position. As you inhale, come up halfway to a flat back. So now we're drawing the shoulders down the back, we're looking forward, we're arching the back and feeling that back line working. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, release all that, let that go. So again, inhale, halfway lift, look forward, and exhale, release all of that. Okay, step both feet back into a plank pose, or the top of a push-up. So here we want to strengthen some of the front of the body. So press the hands into the floor, feel the upper back round. You should feel an engagement of your serratus anterior, which are the muscles that come alongside the rib cage and a little bit at the front of the chest. To add to that, think about rounding the back a bit, as if you're trying to pull your feet towards you. And breathe into that. Because the abs in front of the body are engaged, you're going to have to breathe into the back of the heart. And then let the knees drop. Let the hips come back. And take a full breath in here. As you exhale, let your heart melt. And then come back up. Lean forward, lower to the floor. So your hands should be under your shoulders. We're going to draw the shoulders up towards the ear, squeeze them together. That will kind of open the front of your chest. Then lift the heart off the floor, reach to the toes, feel your back muscles working here, counteracting the rounded shape of cycling, and then slowly release that. Let's do that 2 more times. So shoulders up and back. As you lift the heart, lengthening the low ribs forward. Exhale, slowly release with control. We want to control the muscles by moving slowly. Inhale, shoulders up and back. Lift the heart, reach to the toes. Exhale, slowly release. Come to hands and knees as you inhale. Tuck the toes. And then to prepare for down dog, make sure your hands are wide and fingers spread. The index fingers pointing forward. Start to bring the hips back and press the hips up and back into your down dog. Feel free here to pedal the feet out. Calf muscles can get a little tight or a lot tight in people. So this is a nice way to let them adapt and acclimatize. So just note that for down dog, the knees, it's good for the knees to be bent so we can focus on lifting the tailbone up, pressing through the hands, letting the shoulder blades come up towards the ear to feel that length through the spine. So the legs straight can often make the back round. Number 1 is the back wants to maintain its neutral position. Take a breath in here and out. You can come onto your knees for a moment. Bring your right foot forward. Lift the back knee, pivot down into the heel. Come on up to standing. But begin by bending your front knee. And so what we can do here, so hamstrings get tight as a cyclist. So to help train them to be long, we need to actually strengthen them. And we can do that here. So think about pressing your front heel down into the floor and then think about scissoring your feet together, drawing your feet towards each other. You should feel the inner thigh of the back leg as well as the hamstring of the front leg. So just take a breath here. You can bring your arms out. So you should start to feel fatigue in that hamstring. It's like you're trying to pull the heel back as if you're scraping gum off the bottom of your heel. And then let that relax. You can straighten your legs for a second. And then let's do that one more time. So bend the front knee, draw the feet towards each other, feel the inner thighs and the hamstrings of the front leg work. Bring the arms to parallel. So now right palm, front palm flips up. You're going to reach to the sky, feel length through the side body here. Breathe into that. Keep pulling that front heel back. And one more breath here. As you exhale, cartwheel your hands to the floor as you pivot up off the back heel. Step forward now and fold over the legs. So just observe the sensation of your right hamstring versus your left. Inhale, halfway lift, look forward. Exhale, bow. And now we'll step the right foot back. Pivot down onto the heel and then come on up to standing. Same thing, bend the front knee. Press down through the front heel, draw the feet towards each other. Feel your left hamstring now working and the back inner thigh working. Bring the arms to parallel. Take a breath and out. So trying to find a sense of ease here as you engage those inner leg muscles. And then you can relax that for a second. So now we'll take that a step further. So bend the front knee again, draw your feet towards each other, arms parallel. Now the front hand palm lifts up. You're going to inhale, reach that up to the sky, feel length in the side body, breathe into that. Exhale, and one more breath. As you exhale, cartwheel your hands to the floor, pivot up off that back heel, and then this time, let's step forward and fold over the legs. Observe the sensation of your hamstrings. Hopefully it feels a little bit longer from activating it. Inhale, halfway lift, look forward, hands on hips, pivot up to standing. And then we'll finish with arms. Extend the wrists, arms up, shoulders up, arms back, shoulders back. Keep extending the wrists and then arms down, shoulders down, fingers pointing behind you, and then release. Take a moment to notice the sensations in your body. Okay, if you have a block, that would be great. What you're going to do now, we talked about the hips always flexing and extending when we're in cycling, so we did some outer hip work. We're also now going to do some inner thigh work. So you're going to take your block and bring it between the thighs like so. So just standing here and hugging the block is a great way to activate the inner thighs, called the adductors. So you can take this a step further by bending your knees and coming into a chair position. You can just rest your hands on the legs for now and hug that block. So go ahead and stick your tailbone, your butt back. So you're arching the low back and start to lengthen through the front of the chest. Keep hugging that block. And then you can reach the arms forward and up. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, release and fold forward. Maintain the hugging of the block. Inhale, halfway lift. Keep hugging the block. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, look forward, rise as you hug the block, arms out and up. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, and then you can remove the block. Come to the top of your mat. We're going to inhale, arms forward, shoulders forward, arms up, back, and down, and then bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift, looking forward, back muscles working. Exhale, release, and step the left foot back. Coming on to fingertips now. Start to scissor your legs together again, drawing the feet towards each other. You'll feel two things: your right hamstring activate and your left hip flexor activate. Take a breath in here. Exhale. Inhale, keep activating as you lengthen the crown to the top of the mat. Exhale. And then pivot down onto your heel again. Come on up to standing. Bend your front knee. So this time, take your right hand on the outer hip. So I'll just show you here, your outer hip muscle. So we want to press the thigh into the hand, and the hand resists. You should feel your outer hip muscles engage. And this is another way to develop outer hip strength. You can take your hand off if you want and come into your warrior two position. Just maintain that pressing of that right outer hip. Inhale, straighten the leg, reach the arms up. As you exhale, look down, bring the hands to the floor. Step back into downward facing dog. And take a full breath in and out. Step your left foot forward, or you can come onto your knees first and then bring that forward. Come onto your fingertips, and same thing on this side. Draw your feet towards each other, press down through your left heel, and feel the hamstrings of your front leg. It's like you're trying to pull your foot back like that, but it's not moving. As the back foot tries to draw forward, you'll feel your right hip flexor engage. So this is an isometric contraction. So breathe in, breathe out. So maintaining the breath while activating the muscle and holding it can be challenging, but we want to find that balance between effort and ease. And then let that go, pivot down onto the back heel, come on up. And same thing, bend your front knee, left hand on the outer hip here, and then press that leg into the hand resists. You should feel your outer left hip muscle engage. So make sure that your right hip doesn't kick forward. We want to keep that back so the hip is in line with the ankle while that outer hip muscle is engaging. If you need to, you can always shorten your stance so that you have more space to do this. And then you can bring your arms parallel. Take a breath in and out. Inhale, arms up, straighten the front leg. Exhale, look down and bring the hands to the floor as you step back into down dog. Pedal the legs out if you wish. Take a full breath in and out. This time, lift the heels, come forward into plank pose with that pushing action, so that rounded back. Inhale here, into the back of the heart. Exhale, knees down, hips back. Feel that lengthening of the spine, a softening of the heart towards the floor. Inhale, come back up and forward. Exhale, lower to the earth. And then shoulders up and back as you lift the heart. Inhale. Exhale, release. Inhale, hands and knees. Exhale, hips back. Just have your knees wide here, and we'll extend the arms and come back into that child's pose. Rest your head on the floor or a block. And one more time, come onto the fingertips, lift the armpits away from the floor so you feel the upper back muscles working, the rhomboids and the upper trapezius, and breathe into this.
And release that. Press yourself back on up.
So after you finish, just come to a seated position. Rest your hands on your knees. You can close your eyes and just take a deep breath in and out. So just notice how the body feels, tuning into the sensations, the awareness that we create, that we can change stuff that we're aware of. I hope this video was helpful. Give it a go, ride your bike, try this either before or after, and continue practicing the movements in this video and see if that helps you find more comfort and ease in your cycling.